Anyway, Rachel, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Tell us, what brought you to see me. Tell me about your history. What went on in the past, and what led to for you to start seeing me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see. I am 29 years old currently now, but I started with panic attacks and anxiety probably at the age of 22, 23. So I started on a medication called citalopram way back then. Um, it worked for a few years. I felt like I finally was able to get my panic attacks under control. So fast forward a few years, I was doing really well. Panic attacks were gone, except the anxiety was still kind of roaming. And I think as you get older, especially in your 20s, later 20s, the anxiety kind of like sparks up again. You just got a lot on your mind, lots of things to kind of figure out. So I started struggling with anxiety once again. No panic attacks still, just couldn't really shake the feeling of, you know, just feeling like I was kind of on edge a lot, just not myself. So actually one of my girlfriends goes to Dr. Corona and she referred me to him. And I think I came, correct me if I'm wrong, back in January. So it's been about 6 or 7 months. And I've been on a new medication called Prestique and I absolutely love it. I feel like anxiety just never goes away, but with this medication, I feel like it has. So I haven't had really any struggles since then. I do have flight anxiety, really, really bad. Have yet to be on a plane with this new medication still. But I would say my day-to-day levels of, feeling anxious or just, like I said, kind of on the edge has definitely went out the door. My sleep, that has been the biggest thing. I was a terrible sleeper before. My anxiety would always hit me at night. So I've been sleeping at least.
You find with sleep, it was more problem getting asleep or staying asleep?
It was a little bit of both. Going to sleep was a struggle, but staying asleep was also a struggle. And now I still have like some time, like hard times just getting myself to go to sleep. But once I do, I probably sleep 9 to 10 hours, which is pretty unheard of for me. Even my boyfriend's like, "Are you okay? Like, why are you sleeping so long?" Because I remember I had asked you, I was like, "Is this like part of the medication?" And you were like, "No, this is your anxiety just going away," and me not realizing that had a big deal to do with it. So, yeah, I have had no complaints. Medication was so easy, no crazy side effects. Yeah.
You had been on citalopram, which is Celexa.
Yes.
You were on that for a few years.
Yes, I was on that for a few years. Didn't love the beginning stages of it.
It
Um,
made you nauseous, right, at the beginning?
yeah, it made me really
Yeah.
sick. Especially like, and I wasn't like a big drinker, but I would take it at night. And if I had, a glass of wine or just anything, I would feel like I was going to get, sick or whatever. The beginning of it was, those 2 weeks they tell you, you're going to have kind of these mood swings, kind of like some deep thoughts. Didn't love that part. I was extremely tired as well. But once I got adjusted to it, it was fine, but I had to really be careful with alcohol. So I just didn't love it. It really did help the panic attacks, and that was the biggest thing. I just didn't want to deal with that. But in the end, compared to Prestige, it's like night and day.
I think also you had shared with me that you were having like neck and shoulder tension and
Yes.
back aches.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
I wasn't sure at first if it was, because I work in an office and I'm always like this. But once I talked to you about it, I kind of was like, ooh, this might be actually more, there might be more to it. And I mean, I probably had neck pain, back pain for a while up until I came to you. That's all gone away. No neck problems, nothing. Yeah, nothing at all.
That's amazing. That's great. And you're on just the one thing. I mean, well, you're on the best medication on the market, and what I believe is the number one best medication. It's the number one medication I prescribe in my practice too, for a reason. Because it's the most complete medication as far as, anxiety, depression, physical symptoms. That's what really I've seen over the last 30 years or so with working with this class of medication is the physical symptoms, the sleep improvement. It's more complete than the SSRIs like citalopram you took before. Unfortunately, that's what most doctors know, and that's what most doctors prescribe. And most doctors never get to Prestige because they just don't understand the difference, or they just don't have experience with it, and they just don't do it. And so a lot of people are left with just okay result, better than nothing, but not great,
Yeah.
So
that's basically how I felt. I felt like it was, again, it did the trick. It got rid of the panic attacks. But after that, I just kind of felt not numb, but just not me. It was weird. It was definitely a completely different experience than how I am now. And one thing I meant to add too was I bite my tongue not my tongue. I bite my lip constantly before all of this, because that was a big anxiety thing. I would pick, scabs, or kind of gross, sorry, but like pimples, things like that. Don't do that anymore either. Every now and then I'll catch myself, but it has nothing to do like with how extreme it was before. So another thing to add there that I've definitely noticed a huge improvement on.
Yeah, I talked to a guy earlier. He used to bite his nails, pick them. He used to pick at his cuticles, bite his nails. He doesn't do that anymore. Some people they pick at their hair, or try to. Some people get eczema of the scalp, and then they pick at it, and they pick scabs, and some people actually pull hair. Some people actually pull hair out, and then you can see hair on their fingers that they pull out. So there's a lot of really nervous habits that sometimes if you calm the anxiety, it's amazing how a lot of these things can get better. A lot of these habits can get better. So
it's really cool to see, for sure.
Yeah, what it does is it puts you in control now. So the anxiety is not controlling you anymore. You're in control of the anxiety. So and this is really the real you. This is the real Rachel in my mind is you in a balanced state like this. And so. But anyway, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. I think a lot of people
absolutely. I owe it all to you.
Really see people like you and really get hope that, hey, you know what? I have a similar situation like her. Maybe there is help for me yet. Because, again, a lot of people who are out there who get stuck on a subtherapeutic or, a medication like this, citalopram, lexaprazole out there, and they're okay. They're not bad medications. But the problem is often they're not complete, and then they can be kind of numbing,
Definitely.
And some people will say, well, I'll take numb over anxiety. Okay, well, that's fine, but it's not. We don't have to give that up. It shouldn't be one or the other. It shouldn't be numbness versus anxiety. It should be getting rid of anxiety without the numbness, and that's what something like Prestige will do. So anyway, but thank you so much for coming on, Rachel. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it as well.
All righty, take care.
Bye, Dr. Corona.
Bye. Yeah, so in Rachel's case, hers is a simple case. Okay, it's about as simple as we can get. Well, actually, the simplest we can get is if an SSRI works. So selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So if serotonin is going the wrong way, backwards, it makes it go the right way forward. And that's fine. Some people do fine with them, and actually some people don't have side effects. I do have some patients on SSRIs. They're doing well. But in her case, it was incomplete. She felt kind of flat on it, even though she was on it for 3 years. So she obviously put up with the side effect because it's better that than having anxiety. But when she saw me, I realized that we could do better. So with her, with Prestige at serotonin and norepinephrine. So now we got two chemicals going the right way, and that's the key. A lot of patients, the most simple thing to do is that. So with SSRI alone, fatigue, apathy, sexual side effects. So that's why it shouldn't be a negative. So we shouldn't put up with side effects. If someone has side effects, it's not acceptable to me at all. So sometimes a simple thing like Prestique, just when you get norepinephrine going, like I said, in her case, her pain was better, her neck and shoulder tension went away, her sleep improved. You know, people will have better focus and concentration, better energy, the flatness goes away. So that's what this is the most simple thing that I've done, and most doctors do not do that. It's a simple thing to do, and the vast majority of doctors don't understand it and don't do it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who just are stuck on a medication, and that's as good as they know. And they, like I said, some people say, well, it's better than where I was, but it's not as good as they could be. So that's why I'm hoping that if you're going to learn anything from this show is that don't put up with results that are just okay. We want more than just okay. We want stupendous. We want excellent, and not. And I call it we don't want to get stuck. I call it the fine zone. If someone says, "Oh, I'm fine," what do you mean fine? Well, I'm better than I was, and that shouldn't be. Are you feeling fantastic? No, not great. Okay, well, then we have work to do. So, and I don't stop until I get every person telling me I feel great. I feel there's nothing left for you to do. I'm feeling myself. I feel wonderful. When I hear that, I know I've reached my goal.